Today I fucked up by eating a $6,300 piece of Dove chocolate. 2 weeks ago, I was accepted into a research study for healthy individuals to monitor the effects of a drug on their system, and how long it lasts in the body. I prepared for weeks, making sure I followed all the rules in advance. It required 6 stays of 4 days on site, and the restrictions were pretty lengthy, but it paid $6,300. In the restrictions, it stated to avoid excessive amounts of a specific chemical found in chocolate and coffee, within 48 hours of the first dose. My first dose was on a Tuesday, and Sunday morning, on my flight home from a work conference, I had a single piece of Dove chocolate at 10 a.m. Central Time. Not excessive, right? Wrong? Apparently they meant, no chocolate or coffee. As I was sitting in the research center, getting ready to settle in for a few days, they asked the question about chocolate. I told them the truth. The assistant left to check with the director, and came back saying it was 47 hours from the time of my dose, so I was disqualified. I gaped at him, and said wait. That was 10 a.m. CT, we are in Mountain Time, so it's actually 48 hours. He left to tell his director, and they both came back. I was still disqualified. Apparently, the last dose was possible at 8:55 a.m. I missed the cutoff by 5 minutes. They wouldn't budge, and I was sent packing. $6,300. Gone. Like that. It still hurts. Enough so, that it has taken me 2 weeks to write this. At least it was Dove, and tasted good. And the funny part. The inside of the wrapper said you can do anything, but you can't do everything. Shirley K. Maryland. Edit, as I keep getting asked, this one was but search your area for paid studies, as they only have 4 locations. Edit 2 for clarification answers. Sorry, I walked away for a couple of hours and this blew up. I'm trying to answer what I can. But the common themes? 1, I'm a woman. No, that has no bearing on my post, but it was mentioned often in the comments, so I'm clearing it up. 2, I know, I could have lied. But I kind of have a thing about lying. Especially working in the medical industry as long as I did. Lying in medicine is a major no-no. There is a lot more than money at stake. Also, I actually thought I was in the clear. I figured the test drug was going to be a nighttime pill, not a first thing in the morning pill. Not to mention, excessive to me isn't a small bite of chocolate. 3, I don't work for Dove, or the study group. I'm a project manager. This is truly just me screwing up. And yes, I own my mistake. 4, I won't be taking legal action because I truly don't believe there is any to be had. I ate the chocolate. That's on me. Just because I don't agree with the language to which I was told to avoid it, doesn't mean I didn't still make the mistake. Also, $6,300. Although a lot of quick cash, is not a lot for litigation. No point. I'd lose more than I'd gain. This way I'm also able to continue applying for other studies going forward. They have new ones every week. 5, they were very clear about how compensation works, and I didn't reach the point of compensation. 6, this is not about eating Dove soap, which would have been really funny I think. A few people mentioned this is called Galaxy chocolate across the pond. Too long didn't read. I ate a piece of Dove chocolate 5 minutes too late, and it cost me $6,300 because it was a restricted food in a research study I had joined. Congratulations /you/CX. This post has been chosen as the fuck up of the week. As a researcher, seems kind of sketchy that you wouldn't get any compensation, unless they're tossing all of your data as well. You're generally compensated for your time and participation, not for your samples, but I suppose it can vary from study to study. I personally feel that it would start to border on coercion if you were to tell a participant, effectively, do you want the full $6,000? Well then you need to do X, Y, Z. For example, if we call in a study participant for a study visit, we would compensate them the full amount for that visit, regardless of procedures they complete. This is because we called them in, and it has taken a part of the participant's day to come in for the visit. Usually, studies will provide compensation in increments. So the total is $6,300, but you get $X for baseline, $Y for each follow-up, Zimbabwean dollar for study completion. Too long didn't read, this whole thing sounds ethically questionable. I didn't get any compensation because I didn't complete the first stay, which was 4 days, 3 nights. They were upfront about when they paid out. $675 per 4-day visit, and the remaining at the end follow-up. I got through all the blood work, etc., but not the part that paid. They could have waited 5 minutes before giving you the drug. Yeah, I used that argument too. But because every single thing is documented, they don't allow any wiggle room at all. I don't agree with that. But I'm also not a scientist. Those seem like rather error-prone instructions. Why not just say no coffee, chocolate, or anything that contains excessive amounts of chemical? Or maybe that was the point, intentionally obfuscate the instructions, so more people F up and they don't have to pay the money. Edit, apparently they weren't being malicious in writing error-prone instructions. Yup, I brought it up. Because not only was it written, but I was told multiple times the same thing. No excessive amounts. No one said none at all. So when I mentioned that, it was just a shrug of the shoulders and we will take a look at it. They want people in the studies, they make a lot more than they pay out. The point is to get the drug approved. Today I fucked up by trying to show my turtle the view from my balcony. So I was home alone one day with me and my wife's pet turtle, and I was probably drunk or super bored and lonely because I was looking at the turtle in its tank and thought it would be a good idea to bring it to the balcony to see the view. We live on the 5th floor of an apartment building, and while I was carrying my little friend in my hand I rested in on the railing with my hand still securely on it. But then out of nowhere, just as I was starting to relax, it started to flail around and I lost my grip of it, and I watched as it fell down 5 floors and landed shell first on my first floor neighbor's head. The turtle was surprisingly unscathed, but my neighbor had a pretty bad concussion, and I ended up paying for his medical bills. Too long didn't read, decided to show my turtle the view from my 5th floor balcony but dropped him on my neighbor's head. Edit, since some are asking, yes, the neighbor is okay. It was pretty bad at the time but fortunately didn't have any lasting effects. Also, turtle shells are insane. Edit 2, well fuck me, this exploded. To address some people rightfully telling me that I'm an irresponsible pet owner, well, you'd be right. This sub has the words fucked up in it, and that's exactly what I did. Edit 3, a lot of you guys are concerned for the neighbor in the long run, and trust me, I am just as, if not more, concerned because it was my fault. Me and him are actually cool and have a laugh about it from time to time, but I do feel super bad about it, and unsurprisingly, I no longer intend on showing my turtle how many cars are refilling gas across the street anymore. This is probably gonna be the final edit, so thank you to everyone who was concerned for my neighbor or my turtle. Or both. As to all the people calling me a fucking idiot, I don't blame you. I've brought this upon myself. I aspire to be so bored one day I think fuck, my pet turtle would love to see this view. You don't even need to be bored. Once I thought one of my pythons would like to see their reflection in the mirror. Turns out pythons don't particularly care all that much. True story. Huge turtle lover here, was driving my car, when I noticed a turtle crossing the road, and more or less hunkered down in the middle of the road. I pulled over in the nearest parking lot, and started to make my way to the turtle to move him to the grassy shoulder where he would be safe. At this point he has moved towards the side of the road I am on, when I noticed a semi-truck coming, wheels dead aligned with the little guy. I literally panicked because I knew he was going to get hit, and I could do nothing. Sure enough, turtle got hit, but only the backside of the shell. Turtle shot towards me, Mario Kart style, into the ditch. Thinking he's dead, I looked for him, and to my amazement he was walking through the grass just fine. That's how strong turtle shells are. Turtle shells are ridiculous. There was an alligator snapping turtle near my bus stop when I was a little kid, just sitting in the middle of the road. Nobody wanted to move that nasty sumbitch along, since an adult snapping turtle will take your hand off given half a chance. A truck came barreling down the road towards the turtle, and we all braced for the worst. But instead of smashing the turtle, We saw a piece of the truck fly from the undercarriage as the turtle kept moving unscathed. Absolute unit. Uck. Don't you just hate it when you're leaving your apartment building and a turtle falls on your head? Now consider the tortoise and the eagle. The tortoise is a ground-living creature. It is impossible to live nearer the ground without being under it. Its horizons are a few inches away. It has about as good a turn of speed as you need to hunt down a lettuce. It has survived while the rest of evolution flowed past it by being, on the whole, no threat to anyone and too much trouble to eat. And then there is the eagle. A creature of the air and high places, whose horizons go all the way to the edge of the world. Eyesight keen enough to spot the rustle of some small and squeaky creature half a mile away. All power, all control. Lightning death on wings. Talons and claws enough to make a meal of anything smaller than it is and at least take a hurried snack out of anything bigger. And yet the eagle will sit for hours on the crag and survey the kingdoms of the world until it spots a distant movement, and then it will focus on the small shell wobbling among the bushes down there on the desert. And it will leap. And a minute later the tortoise finds the world dropping away from it. And it sees the world for the first time, no longer 1 inch from the ground but 500 feet above it, and it thinks, what a great friend I have in the eagle. And then the eagle lets go. And almost always the tortoise plunges to its death. Everyone knows why the tortoise does this. Gravity is a habit that is hard to shake off. No one knows why the eagle does this. There's good eating on a tortoise, but, considering the effort involved, there's much better eating on practically anything else. It's simply the delight of eagles to torment tortoises. But of course, what the eagle does not realize is that it is participating in a very crude form of natural selection. One day a tortoise will learn how to fly. Terry Pratchett, Small Gods. Fuck, I'm so relieved Turtle is okay. I saw the title then checked too long, didn't read, because I didn't want to read too much if Turtle died. Anyway, fuck. Concussions can be real serious shit. I hope Neighbor is okay. Today I fucked up by fucking myself with a stick full of maggots. NSFL. If you're eating something then I'd suggest not reading this. You ever seen those stories on the Reddit Museum of Filth? Like, the Krusty Cum shoebox or the Rainbow Dash figure that was boiled in a jar of cum, and realized why is there no female version of this? Well, sit down because I'm about to tell you the story of how I inadvertently fucked myself. With a stick full of maggots. So, I have this pool diving stick that I use to fuck myself. I live with my parents so I can't really get an actual toy. Now, this pool toy has 2 holes on the shaft to allow water to fill in and out of it so it can sink to the bottom of the pool. This also allows it to fill with my girl juices when I use it. The problem? The fluid gets stuck in there since it's relatively more viscous than water. So I've had this thing for about 6 months. I try my best to clean it out by running it under the tap and rinsing it out every couple of weeks, but I can never really get the solidly dry stuff. This, combined with the fact that I always just sort of shoved it down the side of my bed, or stuffed it in my bedside cabinet once I was done with it, made for a pretty nasty smell. It wasn't usually that obvious unless you got close, but earlier today, once I had finished fucking myself, I put it in my drawer and sat up in my bed. I noticed that not only did it smell significantly worse than usual, maybe due to the summer heat, but also down there also felt like it was on fire. Not enough to be painful, but enough for me to notice it. Here's where the interesting part starts. I decide. Hey, it's currently 4 AM, everyone is asleep, I can go and cut this thing open. Sort of like a fucked up episode of What's Inside. So I reach into my drawer, grab my phone and make my way downstairs into the kitchen where I clear out the sink and put this thing down in it. I use a pocket knife to start cutting it open, starting from one of the holes on the side. I'm scared to open it, but I understand that I must, and I put down the pocket knife and gently tease apart the 2 sides of the incision I made. I am horrified. Dozens of little maggots squirming around inside. I started gagging, until the realization set in. I just stuck this thing inside of me. I may have maggots crawling around inside of my vagina right now. The fact that they were maggots, doesn't that mean they had been there for a while? How long does it take fly eggs to hatch? In my state of panic, I snapped a quick photo, already knew that I was going to post that thing on 4chan, and rinsed out the entire thing with water, before cutting it into another 3 pieces and thoroughly rinsing them out with bleach and double wrapping them in a plastic bag and throwing it in the bin. I returned to my room, disgusted, and make a 4chan post. I didn't know what to do after that, except wait for my family to wake up so I could have a shower without worrying about disturbing them. I have my shower and take a nap. That's the end. Today I fucked up's getting weirder every day. I wonder what we read in 23 years. Today I fucked up and did a DNA test. I'm half human, half fly. Normal thoughts. I want to masturbate. I want to use something as an improvised dildo. This pool toy looks like it should work. Abnormal thoughts. I'll just shove it under my bed and rinse it off every few weeks. It's starting to smell nasty, but I'm going to keep stuffing it up my varg. Oh shit, I have maggots in my stink hole. Where's my phone? 4chan needs to know. I'm horrified that it took you cutting it open and finding maggots to stop using it. Please get something safe for your body and properly clean/store your toys. I'm pretty sure the wrong kinds of plastic and rubbers can be really bad for your downstairs, aside from the maggots. I'm doubting this is the right kind. Just so you know, nothing in this post is the right kind.